And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, after punching their ticket to the playoffs just yesterday with other outcomes around the NFC, the San Francisco 49ers come into the Loud House, Lucas Oil Stadium, as 5.5-point favorites, taking on Phil Rivers, who's an experienced vet in the 2025 season now. This is his second week. He's had a chance to feel what it's like to be back in the game. He's had a chance to get a full work week ahead of him, and the boys are obviously ready to rally. This will be the 6th Monday Night Football game that has ever happened in Lucas Oil Stadium, the Loud House. The fans are going to be excited. Tonight, everything is still in front of the Indianapolis Colts. Are the chances as high as some of the other teams to make the playoffs? Certainly not, but if you win, you could potentially get in. You just kind of got to do your thing, and Phil Rivers isn't here just to stand back there. He's here to maybe dance, build that Hall of Fame resume. So I think you got a great Colts team hosting a game that they don't get to host on a very regular basis. Now, through the first 5 Monday Night Football games, Lucas Oil Stadium 1-4.
Okay.
Are the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
But this is Phil Rivers' Indianapolis
Different
Colts.
team.
This is a different team, different vibe, different time. And on the other side, this San Francisco 49ers team, they can still get the #1 seed in the NFC. They have a lot to play for. They could have home field advantage throughout the entirety, and that's without Bosa. That's without Fred. That's with drama happening at the wide receiver room. This San Francisco 49ers team is who you expect them to be whenever they're at their best. Christian McCaffrey, obviously all over stat sheet, all over the leaderboard. Brock Purdy spinning it. Defense hunting. Bob Saleh smiling, juiced, jacked up on the sideline. Monday Night Football tonight should be a very special game. And I heard the halftime show, a lot of effort.
Okay.
A lot of effort for the halftime show. We're obviously excited to be there. We got some ESPN people in the city. We'd like to welcome them here to Indianapolis, Indiana. We hope you have a good time. And then we had Gumpy in the truck. He's dropping in, Miami better team today, boys. I mean, it felt very much a pro-Miami conversation for a bit of it. They were by far the better team. They were by far the better team and handled the elements much better. And that potentially goes back to our conversation with Cristobal before the game. They have an edge. This team has an edge to them right now, and it feels like they showed up.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some talks in the media leading up to the game, obviously. But, I'm a team guy, and I put the cowboy hat on before in the NRG Stadium. I believe it may have been a national championship.
Oh, yeah. You look good, too.
I had the hats on. And you know what? The universe, I think they had something up their sleeve because I had a nice brown hat to go with the suit. Blew it off before we ever even got on camera, and that was just the universe speaking like, hey, you are a team guy here. But I've been a Hurricane fan my whole life. It's in my blood. My older cousin, Willis McGahee, Hurricane legend. So I couldn't go out there with a Hurricane. With a cowboy hat. But I am a team guy. Can't wait till next week, see what gimmick we pull off next week. But this game was awesome. The elements are obviously always a part of it. That's why we love football. First playoff win for the Miami Hurricanes, getting a road win. It was an unbelievable environment, unbelievable plays. Malachi Toney, obviously, making up for the fumble that he had earlier, having the game-winning touchdown. The playmaker, obviously. Mark Fletcher, just an unbelievable performance by the defense as a whole. Ruben Bain Jr. absolutely dominated this game. I believe 7 sacks for the defense. The environment was awesome. 104,000, obviously screaming Mimi's in there, man. It was an unbelievable environment, and it's nothing better that we do in these game experiences, boots on the ground.
Yeah, it's crazy that we get to do it. We appreciate everybody that watch. We try to be an additive to the game, and I think if you listen to us early, now my voice was kind of coming and going because I went to that midnight yell practice the night before. That was a terrible decision. Sorry. For my voice, that was a bad decision. For life experience, great decision. I mean, experiencing what they do every single midnight before a home game, every home game, not just college football playoff, every home game, 30, 40, 50,000 people sometimes come in at midnight. And I assumed that it would be all the older people, like the students. This game a difference. And I think they did. I think the Texas A&M fans showed up in a big way, which makes this Miami win even more impressive to me. Is they were able to not only battle the wind, that was absurd. Carson Beck, obviously a bit more of a through-the-sky type of guy than Marcel Reed, the quarterback at Texas A&M. But Mark Fletcher, that running back, we saw very early in that game, if you were able to hear, just give the ball to this guy. He's 6'2", 230, and every time he got the rock, there was massive holes for him seemingly early. They did get a couple stops on him, and then he wouldn't touch the ball. It was almost like Derrick Henry type situation. But he was the breadwinner the entire time with Malachi Toney doing the special stuff, and their defense being as thumpers as they were. I mean, guy risked his life to break up a pass on the end zone. Knew what was going to happen. Literally, just full sell right in front of us. Boom. Full sell, Miami guy. We see it. He's locked up right there. Full concussion. We're talking about selling his entire body out to win the game for Miami. And we could feel that through the Hurricanes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they are all in. That is a very tight group. They're very big. They're very fast. They're very physical. It feels like they felt jaded by the entire conversation. They've certainly sold that. It's like they're a problem. They are a real problem, I think, going forward.
You felt it when we spoke with Coach Cristobal earlier in the week. You knew the mindset going into the team, into the game, and they talked about, I think their mantra leading up to the game was, look, our 100 against their 100,000, and we like our 100 on that sideline. And they showed it, man. It was a gritty ball game. Texas A&M, their defense showed up as well. They were great on third down like they've been all season long, and it just came down to the trenches at the end of the day. Texas A&M had an opportunity to punch it in there, and then Bryce Fitzgerald for his second interception to show up like that as a true freshman.
Where's he from?
Miami, Florida, yeah. So that's the other part of it, too. And this is huge because you always talk about the talent that's in South Florida, and historically, once they start getting plucked, going to other places. When the U was the U, most of the talent, they stayed. Andre Johnson, we saw him on the sideline, Michael Irvin, Edgerrin James, Ray Lewis, like these are all like Florida guys. So having a young freshman like this, Malachi Tony, another South Florida guy, Mark Fletcher Jr., another South Florida guy, him and Malachi Tony, high school teammates, and even that part of it, when Tony had the fumble.
I just saw a team from Baltimore beat Utah in a national championship.
Yeah, you're right.
PA's up there too, probably top.
Thank you.
I don't know, 6, 7 maybe, but Miami,
cool.
Florida, number one for sure. Maybe Cali, Texas, Georgia, Louisiana.
Yeah, Louisiana. I've heard Louisiana is actually that became a big part of the conversation. Back NFC titles. First time in 21 years somebody has won the NFC East back-to-back times. Wow. It is the Super Bowl champs. Somehow remain focused. I love the fact that Cooper DeJean is dropping the 5-knuckle shuffle, especially with everything that was going on in his potential rumored life. And then Jalen Hurts playing ball. Saquon Barkley doing his thing. The Commanders, obviously, interesting spot. But whenever you talk about going back-to-back in a division that hasn't had back-to-back, you have to respect it. A lot of primetime games, obviously very similar style of football year in, year out. Eagles able to get it done. Do we think they can win a Super Bowl again and go back-to-back, not only NFC East, but also Super Bowl?
I'm a little biased here. I think so. I think you have a quarterback, you have a coach, a coaching staff, a defense. You have guys pretty much who have done it already. So I think they're battle-tested. This was a battle, too. This was a cagey affair against a 4-win Washington Commanders team, and they found a way to get it done. They'll have to find that running game back, and I think when Lane Johnson gets back in there, it'll be a completely different run game. And Jalen Hurts has been looking better down the stretch. It was against, the Raiders and the Commanders now. You'll obviously be facing some good ball clubs down the stretch, but I think they have what it takes in the building to get it done in the playoffs.
Devontae Smith blocking down the field here to free him. I mean, that's buy-in, that's commitment. Good for them in their biggest ball. And then the number one headline coming out of the weekend that was for the NFL, Merry Clinchmas. Hey, 7 teams have punched their ticket to the playoffs. Yeah. 5 in the NFC, 2 in the AFC. There's obviously a couple teams lurking. Congrats to the Seattle Seahawks, the Chicago Bears, Philadelphia Eagles, the Los Angeles Rams, and the San Francisco 49ers who are playing tonight. Congrats to them.
Yep.
Congrats. Congrats to the Broncos and to the Patriots. Way to go. Way to go.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
The seeds that would be there would be where they would be sitting, but obviously the seeds can all change, and the top 4 seeds go to division champs. So, that's just kind of where they're sitting at. Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, Carolina Panthers, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers can obviously still make it. Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's going to win the NFC South? Then in the NFC North, who else is going to get in? Then the AFC, I think it's kind of figured out who's going to be there. Conman has an entire breakdown that he's going to do later.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's still some teams lurking, like the Indianapolis Colts, who would do a huge thing for their chances if they were to win tonight. Joining us now, speaking of tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is the senior NFL insider for ESPN, Michigan man, Adam Schefter.
Gentlemen, what's going on?
Shefty, happy holidays.
Packers have a situation where Love is still in protocol. Malik Willis banged up his shoulder. Now, the good part is I don't expect them to go sign another quarterback, which tells you that at least one of those guys should be able to go on Saturday. They have Clayton Tune on their practice squad. If one of them can't go, obviously they'd elevate Clayton Tune, and he would be the backup for Green Bay. But it sounds like they're not going to make another move for a quarterback, unlike a team like the Kansas City Chiefs that has to go at a quarterback after Mahomes and Minshew, hurt their knees back-to-back weeks. We expect it to be a torn ACL for Gardner Minshew. We said this to you last week about another player, Mahomes, I think it was, as a matter of fact. So they're going to have to add another quarterback to get through the final 2 games of the season.
Chiefs, penthouse to outhouse, quick. I mean, we're talking about dynasty about a week and a half ago now. 2 straight losses, a lot of injuries, lost to the Titans in Nashville. Obviously, congrats to them getting a little bit of happiness for at least a few moments. And to the Chiefs, who knows what the years going forward look like. Also, let's talk about the next couple weeks going forward. Go ahead.
This is the time of year we start forecasting, new coaching vacancies going into the offseason. Kind of 2 different situations, but John Harbaugh in Baltimore. I know the Ravens fan base has been pretty loud about him, and then obviously Mike McDaniel down in Miami after that blowout loss against Cincinnati yesterday. What's the thoughts there?
I think with Baltimore, he's been such an institution there, John. It's hard for me to see whether you're talking about Mike Tomlin or John Harbaugh or Andy Reid, these situations going any which way other than what the coach wants it to. And I think when the coach feels like, at a certain point, these guys, they're almost tenured. I know that franchises belong to the owners, but there's a certain level of respect that you get when you have done it that long, usually. And I think Baltimore, if it falls short of the playoffs, as it certainly can, they're going to have the organizational meetings that they always do and move forward from there. Whatever change that means, whether that's a coaching change, or whether it means a player change. But I think there's some things up in the air if this team falls short here that they're going to have to go over. Every year after the season, Steve Bisciotti gets together key individuals with that organization, takes them out on their boat. They go out for a few days. They discuss what's ahead for the organization. And I'd love to be on that boat this year to hear some of those conversations and what's going to transpire. As for Mike McDaniel, I know that people are saying he's safe. I don't think they've made any decisions there yet about his future. He might be safe, but he might not. I think that is still playing out in real time. And nothing has been decided there. And we'll see how that plays out over time. Nothing's decided there.
Okay, that's huge, obviously, for the Miami Dolphin fans and the Dolphin fam community down there. So we do. Ladies and gentlemen, to join us for the next 44 minutes or so, it's Peter Schrager in the Schrager 44 minutes. Look good, Schrags. I'm never here when you're here.
I felt like righteous gemstones coming out of there.
Nice.
We need to give you a little bit more lighting.
Baby Billy.
Yeah, it's on us. We apologize. Let's ask ESPN maybe to bring it back. That'd be good to the schedule makers to do that. Speaking of the schedule, San Francisco 49ers can still get the number 1 seed. Obviously, the Colts need to win. They have small chances, but still have chances to make it to the playoffs. 5.5-point dogs at home. What are you thinking about this game tonight, Triggs? And thank you for coming out here.
Oh, absolutely. I love being here. I went back and watched, obviously, Phillip Rivers against Seattle, and guy played well, did everything you could ask for him. The issue here is going to be, how does he feel 8 days later after playing? Like, can he still move his body? Can he still get around? Can he be mobile enough? It's actually a good matchup for him. As good as the 49ers defense is, they're last in the league in sacks. They're not great on pressuring the quarterback. And if he can get to a 7-on-7 situation where he's just making a pizza in the back and just dissecting, this is the defense to do it against.
Making sandwiches.
He can do it. He can do it. So, you talk to the people in the Niners organization, not for a second are they like, oh, we're going to take off Phillip Rivers' head. Like, they are actually very fearful that if he gets comfortable in the pocket, he can dissect that defense.
Okay, I love to hear that. Obviously, we know that Jonathan Taylor can get busy, and tonight's going to be fantastic. Let's pivot away from Monday Night Football. Let's just talk about NFL as a whole. 7 spots secured for the playoffs coming out of this particular Sunday. Obviously, we had Thursday night, Saturday, and Sunday games. Kind of your take on where we sit as an NFL. 5 teams in the NFC are in. 2 automatically already in the AFC. What does this kind of tell you, Schrags, and what are your thoughts?
The parity's great because you have all these teams that have not been perennial powers the last few years. I will say this, there has been sort of the excitement and the fangs out of week 17 and 18 taken out just a little bit with all these teams having already clinched.